The mics are hot, and so's the gossip. Let's get into it in 3. Welcome to In 3. I'm Danielle Graham.
And I'm Callie.
And listen, I want to get caught up. I want to chit chat. I want to do all those things, but we don't have time.
It's Met Tuesday.
Yes.
After the big Met Monday gala. The first Monday in May. The biggest night in fashion, hands down.
Yes. And it was a good one.
It was a really good one.
Was.
And I especially loved the theme this year. So the theme was super fine, tailoring Black style. And essentially, this was a theme that celebrated the history of Black fashion, particularly the influence of Black designers and the evolution of tailoring, including the dandyism movement.
Okay.
And why I love this is because sometimes I feel like the theme can be a little bit unclear.
Yeah.
And it's open to so much interpretation. This year, I felt like the vibe and the feel was so specific.
Yeah, very tangible.
Yes.
And from that, then, I want to know who you think nailed it.
Okay, well, I do have some thoughts.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're going to agree.
That's why I really wanted to get into this part of the show with you.
I know.
Like right away.
Well, okay, first of all, hands down, I've got to say, when you bury me, bury me in the outfit that Kerry Washington was wearing.
Yes?
Oh my God. Like, I feel like I want to get remarried just to wear that outfit. Not that I could pull it off
Yes, you could.
quite like she could, but that entire outfit, head to toe, the hat.
Yeah.
The blazer inspired like blouse that was it was completely backless with this like jewel hanging down, cascading down her back.
Spectacular.
And then the big voluminous what do you call that? Like a translucent skirt? What do you call that? It's
Like
not mesh, but
tulle? Not tulle.
what is it? It's just like, it was just like this big see-through, beautiful midi length skirt. And I was gagged.
Yeah, it was
gagged.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And she's perfection.
Actually, when I was wedding dress shopping, because I did wear a totally non-traditional dress to my wedding.
You had like ostrich.
I wore ostrich feathers on a short dress. But when I was looking, because I was not in bridal stores, Jonathan Simkai, who designed Kerry Washington's outfit, was one of the top designers that I kept gravitating towards. I didn't end up wearing him in the end, but like, but yeah, he does that really well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could totally see you in that. So I didn't pick things that I think I could wear because this, like, I just can't think.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could pull any
It was
of this
over the
off.
top. Yeah.
It was, but I loved it. And I really think Rihanna nailed the theme.
Yeah,
First
she
of all,
understood the assignment.
She really did.
Yeah.
She came out. We see now that she's pregnant with her 3rd child. Like, and I love these pregnancy reveals she gives us.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
bam, Super Bowl. Bam, Met Gala, baby on the way. But it was corseted. It had a tie. It had that menswear feel. It was just so good.
And did you see the back?
What was the back?
The back was basically where it was like a blazer that was tied up on her bottom, almost as if she was wearing it like around her waist, but backwards.
So cool.
Yeah, she's so cool.
She is so cool. And that's the thing about the Met Gala. You want to come and you want to come correct and you want to be cool and you want to nail it. I really think Doja Cat was fantastic in that jacket piece with that strong shoulder, and it had like the leopard print, kind of the animal print bustier on top. You know, I love a bustier.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise. I liked Kylie.
Oh,
I know. You know, I don't always love Kylie's choices, but in this
Wow.
case, I think it was really on theme.
You think so?
I think so. Well, it was structured.
Yeah.
It was tailored. It had some of that, like some really nice textiles. I really
Yeah.
liked it. Yeah, for the moment. I'm not saying it was appropriate for the Oscars when her boyfriend's mom is there.
Right.
But for this event, yes.
But she was decidedly more covered at the Met than she was at the Oscars,
Yes.
which is usually like not how it works.
Yeah,
it's usually
true.
opposite of that.
Yeah.
What did you think of Kim Kardashian's look?
Okay, Kim's was fine. It was that leathery bustier. It was a bustier as well. What was that top? It was,
guess.
it was tight. But the back was the
showstopper.
The showstopper.
Yeah.
So it was super low cut on her behind.
Yes.
And then it had that pearl detail. And all I kept thinking was, it looks like when somebody goes to the washroom and accidentally gets toilet paper caught in the back of their skirt or dress.
Great.
And that's what it looked like to me. I was like, this looks like a washroom mistake.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I didn't think I needed the pearls on the back on the butt. It just
the whole thing felt like a lot. Although I always have to remove my lens of like, is this cute, and put on my lens of like, is this fashion?
Yes,
because it is fashion.
Fair.
It's time to sort of like put away this idea that like you have to look pretty and put on the hat of like embodying this theme, and that's a tough. Like, it's a really tough assignment, I think.
It is. I think it's even harder for men, though, because they don't often have as many options. But I really do think Lewis Hamilton and Coleman Domingo, who were the chairs.
Yeah,
they were the
co-chairs.
Co-chairs. Yeah. They nailed it. Like, when they came out.
Beyond.
They set the bar and they were like, everybody, this is what we're doing.
And Rocky.
Yeah.
And Rocky was also a co-chair.
Yeah.
Obviously, him and Rihanna are together and did reveal their third pregnancy, which is just like, of course.
But of course.
And people are saying that, I mean, he looked amazing. He is so gorgeous. Like, I look at him and I'm pregnant. So like, I get it. He's so handsome. We get it, Rihanna. We understand why you're always pregnant.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
It really
on
does.
both sides. Like, just seriously.
Yeah, like they're just naked at home.
Probably
100%.
Definitely a naked household.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of accessories. There was a lot of canes. There were some cigars we saw. He had an umbrella.
Yeah.
Which I love because I feel like it's a bit of a nod to Rihanna, the umbrella era, right?
That's so great.
And then, but the handle of the umbrella, I don't know if you saw this, but it was
didn't.
the shape of a gun.
Oh.
And he just got off of that court case where he was on trial for guns and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting homage
statement.
to that chapter, I felt like.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites, which is very different from how I felt about the Oscars, because she was, I think, my worst dressed at the Oscars, and one of my favorites from last night, Zoe Saldana.
I loved Zoe Saldana last night. Even like the hair with the look, like the whole thing was perfect.
I could not agree more. Like that she really like stopped me dead in my tracks.
So did Janelle Monáe for me. Because that was like wearing art.
Oh God, yeah.
But she's always so good at the Met. She never
so
lets
good.
us down. But that for me was like, wow, it's so interesting. We've never seen anything like it. You're the only one out here with even this color palette was different from everybody else. It was so good. I think the big surprise for me, because we know Zendaya is always top of the list. Perfect. Nailed it. Gorgeous. Everything. And she was all that. All white. Absolutely spectacular. You know, I love this because it's all white.
Yeah.
You love it. It has a hat.
It's such a vibe.
Perfectly tailored. But then there was a copycat look.
Yeah.
An accidental.
Oops.
But big oops.
Yeah,
like
big
really,
oops.
because if big oops was somebody not Zendaya, wouldn't be so bad. But because Zendaya is such a fashion icon, the oops felt big. So it was Anna Sewai.
Yeah, from Shogun, right? She was a nominee for the Oscars in Shogun.
They weren't even kind of similar.
No, they were like basically identical. I will say though, I was really excited to see Zendaya. I thought this was like her big night. Like it was like her and Rihanna. That's who people were most excited to see.
Always.
Especially because she so famously works with Law Roach, who's one of the most revered Black stylists in Hollywood. And so it was like, this is their moment. This is the moment they've been working for.
Yes.
And then when she came out in that suit, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, she has come to so many Met Galas and really knocked the pants off of everybody. Like the best dressed, the most stylish, the most like, risk taking. And then this, and that might be a part of it, that that she didn't necessarily think she needed to be so loud. But for me, I'm such a Zendaya stan. I love her so much. And I just know what she's capable of. This fell short for me.
You wanted a little more.
I even felt like the hat could have been like a bit more dramatic, a bit more like, she just felt small. It felt like she was playing small, and she's so big. And this was just could have been such a big moment for her. And I felt like she fell short.
You're right, because if somebody was able to replicate it, then it wasn't Zendaya level.
Exactly.
Zendaya
no one replicated Janelle Monáe.
Nobody did, because she was way up
right?
here. Yeah, you're right. What it did though confirm, I think in some ways, there's always been speculation that Anna Wintour pre-approved the looks for everybody on the red carpet, that she has outfit approval.
Right.
But now I think that blows that up. It's like, well, that's not possible because she would never have allowed this to happen if she knew what the looks were ahead of time.
Well, Anna actually did an interview, I think last week, and totally took that down.
Okay.
She does not. I think she says that people send her, I think, Anna's approval is so important to so many of these people.
Sure.
So oftentimes they'll send it to her looking for her approval, but she says she doesn't. I mean, I think if she was approving looks, it would have avoided a lot of fashion disasters that we've seen in the past.
Well, that's where I want to go now, though, to the disasters of last
100%. I will say my absolute worst dressed is the person that people tell me I look like. Lorde.
Yeah.
Apparently I look like her.
You don't even remotely resemble Lorde.
I mean,
not even
I
a
don't
little
think
bit.
so either, but I used to get it so much. But anyways, when she stepped onto the carpet, I was like, what am I looking at?
Why?
Why are you doing this?
I know.
She was washed out. Like, she's fine, but she's not a fashion star. So if you want to come to the Met, you better bring it.
Yeah.
And she was in this like washed out cummerbund inspired, barely there dress. And I just thought it wasn't my fave.
My not fave, but I have a reason. I'm going to give her a discount.
Okay.
Was Hailey Baldwin. That was such a boring, basic.
Oh, Hailey Biebs.
Oh, sorry, Hailey Bieber. My bad. It was just so underwhelming. It was something that you could get in your closet. We could do a version of that.
I have that in my closet.
It wouldn't be the YSL version. Yeah. But like you and I could put that together right now if we needed to.
What I don't have are those legs.
No, yes you do though.
Well,
they're pretty they're pretty spectacular legs. But I was just like, wow, but what I think it said to me was it was kind of reflective of maybe how she's feeling emotionally and personally.
Yeah.
Because that was not a girl who's like feeling her best stepping out like that. She felt covered up. It felt like really phoned in.
Yes.
I remember doing this on days when I wasn't feeling great and I was on TV. I wore things from the back of the closet that I was just like, I wanted to cover up and just like hide. And I remember one time I wore something so heinous. A friend called me the next day and said, I don't know why you hated yourself yesterday.
That's not nice.
Never do that again. I was like, you were right. It was a bad choice. I'm not saying hers was bad. It just wasn't great.
No, I mean, we all know when we're doing that, right?
Yeah. But then Kendall steps out looking like she's going to a businesswoman lunch, like also very disappointing. I understand it was structured and suiting, but boring. I was also really underwhelmed by Sydney Sweeney. I thought she could have done better. You're in a big moment right now. You're having this huge come up and you go in that.
Yeah.
And then what the hell was Shakira doing?
Oh, Shakira. Shakira was at her own party. Like, I don't even think she got the invitation. She did not get the memo. She did not know what the theme was. She just came with Shakira hair in a pink dress with cutouts. That was heinous.
It looks so stupid.
It was bad.
It was so bad.
Imagine you get there and you're like, oh.
How are you not embarrassed?
So weird.
Also, Anne Hathaway looked to me like rich mother of the bride.
Well, Anne Hathaway definitely listens to the pod and knew that she had to come in a tight high pony, which she did. The face is back.
The tight face is back.
Yeah, the tight face is back.
Yep.
She said that she was channeling Andre Leon Talley with the crisp white shirt.
Okay.
But it really did also feel phoned in and just kind of like safe.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't like Miley's outfit either.
I didn't either.
In a room full of like tailoring and suiting and really like, beautifully fitted clothes to the body, I felt that skirt was messy and it was just like weirdly not well fitting.
And she was pulling on it.
Yeah, she looked uncomfortable.
She did look uncomfortable. It wasn't the right look for her.
Yeah, I agree.
The worst of all, Heidi Klum, in my opinion.
I mean,
strapless black dress, blown out hair. Listen, I love that. For any other thing, you want to go to the Emmys in that? Great. Right. Good choice. Safe choice. Not great, just like passable.
Yeah.
Not passable here. If that was your choice, you should have stayed home.
I really felt like we were missing some star power.
We were.
If I'm being honest.
Beyonce,
Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, who we'll talk about later, but J-Lo even.
Yeah.
Like, I was feeling like it was great. It was fine. There were some, obviously, the beautiful outfits and fashion. But
yeah, I could have used a little more.
Something missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that. So let's line up the show.
Okay, let's do it.
The first story of the big three is all the drama and the gossip from the Met Gala.
The behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes.
Yes,
so
love it.
Who wasn't there, why that's important, and everything else that we learned that happened. Our second story, we're getting into Prince Harry, who's just opening his mouth again.
He just can't help himself.
Family matters.
Yep.
And things that could have, maybe should have been in a phone call to people.
Maybe.
Instead of on a national global
chat.
broadcast. Yeah. And Taylor Swift. There's an update on what's happening with Taylor in the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni lawsuit.
Yeah, that's right. And then we're going to get into, we have to talk about Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
She's having a huge moment. She just had a big concert. So we'll get into the ins and outs of all of that.
Yes.
And I can't wait. But first, the gossip from the gala.
Okay, the gossip from the gala. You know who
Yeah.
else was missing? Talking about the big people that we are used to seeing. Sarah Jessica Parker was not there. And SJP, this is her Super Bowl. This is her big everything. This is
Yeah, you really feel the gap when those types of people don't show up.
Yeah, she was working, so she made that really clear last week that she wasn't going to be there, and she was devastated.
She did.
Taylor and Travis were not there, allegedly due to, in quote, conflicts.
Right.
Guys.
Because we know why.
First of all, number one, the Met Gala is the first Monday of May every year.
Yeah.
It's not a floating
You're
anything.
not like accidentally scheduling something.
No.
Yeah, no.
He's not playing
You're right.
football.
Yeah.
She's not on tour.
Right.
There's a big gap in the schedule. So let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Let's not pretend like you just accidentally scheduled a dinner you couldn't get out of. There were some exes on the carpet last night that I was kind of excited to see if there were going to be any run-ins. Sabrina Carpenter and Barry Keoghan.
Oh.
So Sabrina looked amazing. We didn't talk about her, but
I loved it.
I mean, I know. I was actually hoping that was going to be top of your list.
It is. I just didn't want to, get into any more.
I loved it.
Love.
She looks amazing. She looks like a pop star. Perfect. Yes. A tailored pop star. So she got the memo and she's so herself. Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny.
Oh, right.
Nicole Scherzinger and Lewis Hamilton. I think people forget that they dated.
About that. He's so hot.
He is next level.
Yeah, he's so hot.
Yikes. Okay. And the other exes that did have a run-in, Miley and Patrick Schwarzenegger. Do you remember that they dated?
Not until you just came out of your mouth.
Yes. In 2014,
God.
they dated. So more than 10 years ago, during her like bangers era when she had that short pixie blonde
she was
cut.
coming in like a wrecking ball.
And he was still in university. God. And she would go like visit him on campus. And it was like this whole weird... It was just such a weird relationship. But they were...
But I get that
They
now.
were really serious.
Yeah.
They were even like... There was talks of potential engagements and things like that. Anyway, so there's an amazing photo from last night of him passing by Miley and his mouth is agape. Like his jaw's on the floor.
Like he didn't try to
to fix his face. No, he was just like,
I want to see this.
Literally.
Well, God, that's the best feeling in the world. So Blake and Ryan, not there, which... I'm a little bit surprised by because really they've been everywhere. Yeah. They were at, SNL 50. They were everywhere last week from the Time 100, like we talked about, to the premieres. Yeah. So why they weren't there, we could get to. Because there could be because there's developments happening in the lawsuit.
I was under the impression that it was more of a Anna Wintour thing.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. Like I thought that they were not invited.
Whoa.
I don't want to say that without being certain, but that's, I think, what the rumors were. So I wasn't expecting them. I think we knew they weren't going to come.
Okay.
I think they were missed. And I think on the tour of whatever they're on right now, like it's not an apology tour, but it's like a redemption tour. I think they're trying for it to be a redemption tour. I think this would have been a great place for them to be. Yeah. And honestly, just a quick sidebar. I did watch Another Simple Favor over the weekend.
How was it?
Her fashion in that movie is insane.
It was so good in the first one.
So good in the first one, so good in the second one. And honestly, really on theme for the Met Gala.
Totally,
like
that
suits
tailoring
and all the things. I think that she could have really killed this and had a moment. But again, I think that there was something about them not being invited.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Wow.
I wanted to quickly touch on Monica Barbaro and Andrew Garfield.
Were they there?
She was there. She looked amazing.
I didn't see her.
So good. I mean, I think like we've only seen her a few times. So it's like and she had a big hat on and a big outfit, so it's like hard to recognize her. But I was wondering if they were going to show up together.
Oh.
Because we know that they're going strong.
Right.
We saw them in New York over the weekend. So I was like, oh, are they going to do a hard launch at the Met Gala?
No.
They didn't. But when she returned after the after party to the Mark Hotel, he was waiting in the lobby for her.
Like the gentleman he is.
He's
perfect.
He is clearly the perfect boyfriend.
Yes, he is.
He was like, it was giving like perfect boyfriend, holding a bag that obviously had stuff for her in it, understated, like playing a supporting role, and probably like I feel like he had like a burger waiting for her or something perfect.
Of course
like
he did.
Yeah.
What a sweet man.
I love him. The other thing I loved just about like boyfriends who I thought might have come, I thought also we were talking about maybe Kylie and Timmy would make a big debut. He was watching the game.
Oh,
with his friends.
Which one?
Oh, hockey. Sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was watching the Leafs game last night.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
So he was sort of live Instagram storying with his friends, just like in a total dude dress down moment, while Kylie was on the carpet. And I was kind of disappointed because this is also a carpet that Timmy would be perfect for. Like he has been embodying the dandyism in all of his dressing.
He totally has.
Like this is his vibe. So I felt like that was kind of a miss, and that would have been such a fun gossip moment.
It would have.
But no, he was watching the game, and so was Justin Bieber.
I saw that
Yeah.
in that weird couch he keeps posting.
Right.
He's in he's in Iceland right now.
He is?
He is
Oh.
smoking a bong, as I think we all saw. He's sharing a lot of content that I would actually call not content. It's non-tent.
Non-tent.
Like
can
that.
can we adopt that word now?
I made it up years ago, and then
Did
I
you?
looked it up, and apparently it is a word because I thought that's
Oh,
it.
I'm
I've
obsessed.
done it. I'm going to be in the Webster's dictionary.
I love it.
I've come up with non-tent. Should we get to Prince Harry?
We definitely need to talk about this.
Yeah, we do. So Prince Harry, I mean, for me, very unexpectedly, all of a sudden was all over the news over the last few days. So the backstory to it, let me just kind of upload you here or our listeners on it because it is a little bit convoluted.
It is.
So when Prince Harry moved to the U.S. in 2020, he lost his taxpayer-funded police protection.
Right.
Okay, he moved, that happened.
Yep.
He challenged the decision, and then it was upheld last week. And he was really upset about the fact that the decision stays. He does not have taxpayer-funded police protection.
Right.
In my mind, I was like, bitch, pay for it yourself. Right? If you want to go back to the UK, pay for it yourself. You have Netflix money. Why do the taxpayers have to pay for your protection? It's a different thing. Mm-hmm. It's a different level. He's looking for this elite protection, which is given to royals. Those people have access to intelligence, any threats against the family, and things like this.
Right.
Private security doesn't have any of that. They're just, the people with the sunglasses and whatever.
They're opening doors for you.
They're opening doors and they're looking
escorting
around.
you places.
The elite protection can carry a firearm. The private security cannot in the
Look at you
UK.
with this little
So no, I
intel.
wanted to understand it because I was like, why? What do you can't cry. We need
Security.
It's not so much the security as the type of security it is. And the thing is, you can't pay for that kind. The kind that he wants, he would pay for, but you can't because it's given to members of the royal family.
Oh.
So that's the issue at hand.
Well, thanks for that distinction.
Well, I had to figure it out because I was like, why are you doing this? Is not the look.
Just
if you
pay
want to go
someone
home,
to-
just pay
right.
someone to look after your family.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's saying. He can't bring his family home. That's what came out in this interview. I can't bring my wife and my children to my homeland, which is terrible because I love my country. And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, I want you to keep going, but why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And then he spoke in this interview after this decision was upheld that he and his dad are not speaking. His father refuses to speak to him. He also said, I don't know how much longer my dad has, which
Right.
I think sent the whole world into a bit of a tailspin. Like, we know that he's battling cancer. I don't think anybody knew there was how much time does he have ?
Right. Well, that felt very melodramatic.
Right?
The whole thing felt very melodramatic. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion. First of all, I just love Harry. Okay. I love Diana. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
And I have a real soft spot for Harry. He's acting like an idiot and like a total crybaby idiot. But I do understand his sort of concerns about not being able to go home without this type of security. I think in light of the tragedy of how Princess Diana died and how much her life was constantly at risk because of the exposure and because of the way that the UK media are so aggressive and thirsty and relentless on the royal family. So on one hand, I have this soft spot for Harry.
I have the exact same thing.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, he has all this trauma and he is he seems terrified for the safety of his family, which in light of how he grew up and the trauma that he endured makes sense to me.
Fair and valid.
Fair and valid. That part. I think that shame on the royal family for denying this, although apparently it wasn't really up to them. It was more up to the government. And then they said it would have been inappropriate if the royal family had stepped in to change this, the opinion of the courts.
But then he is saying the reason he and his dad are not speaking is because of this lack of protection.
Right. So there's so much.
It's muddy.
It's very muddy. Mm-hmm. But this interview is just like so puzzling to me.
Yeah.
Because he's really contradicting himself. He's saying, like, the whole point of this interview was him saying, I want to reconcile with my family. That he left, he abandoned them, he jumped ship, he was the one who changed his mind.
Yeah.
And left.
Wrote a book.
Right.
Told all of their business.
All of it.
Then, first, let's back it up. We spoke to Oprah.
Yeah.
Called some people racist in the family.
Right.
Okay. Aired a lot of family dirty laundry and then wrote a book. And then continued.
Like a 700-page book.
And then they did a Netflix series too. Like, you guys.
Right.
You guys.
So I want to reconcile, even though I've done all of these things that would indicate that, you know, I was really burning a lot of bridges. And then in the same sentence, tossing more dirty laundry out there about the ins and outs of the drama with his family, which he knows that the one thing that they don't want is for people to know their damn business.
Don't complain, don't explain. All he's doing is complaining and explaining.
Like, to the nth degree. So it's just like, is he playing us?
I don't know. Or is he just getting bad advice? Or is he in this knee-jerk thing? Because, you know, this ruling was upheld and within however many hours he was on TV talking about it.
Right.
Take a minute. Don't react in an interview that you know is going to be picked up around the world.
Right.
And if you want to speak to your dad, there are a lot of other channels to go through
100%.
To make that happen. And I do believe his intention for reconciliation is heartfelt. And I do believe he wants to get there. I think he has a long way to go to make that bridge happen. But in the same time, I've really tried to think about the dynamics of parents and children in these kind of situations. And part of me thinks, not all of me, because I think this is a very big like situation. It's not even duality. It's many. It's like a hexagon of stuff.
Right.
Is it the parents' responsibility here? Is it King Charles' responsibility to reconcile? You're the dad. You're supposed to be setting the example. You're the leader of this family. Is it you? Should you now be the one to kind of make amends here? Even though your son is acting like a big idiot.
Yeah, and a brat a little bit, right? Like, I chose to leave and now I want back in, but I'm also going to talk shit while I'm saying it. Like, all of that doesn't make sense.
I want it all ways.
I hear what you're saying. And I think... I mean, I just think he's 40. He's not 4 or
Good
14 point. Or 24 even. Like, I just think, yes, I think absolutely it is the parents' responsibility in the case of, like, you know, when they're really the authority figures. I think in this case, they have to kind of they really have to meet in the middle somehow. And I think that the royal family is the epitome of stubborn, right? The epitome of stuck in their ways, the epitome of stubborn.
Yes.
So knowing that, and then knowing, as you said, like what they will and won't, you know, kind of put up with, then to go and do this, it's just like, I do think it's sincere, but then I question it because it's like it's the math is not mathing
right
on his strategy.
It isn't. And I also wonder, you know, they fled the UK claiming that it was unsafe and they were treated terribly.
Yeah.
And They didn't want to be there anymore. Why do you want to go back now? That's the other thing I don't really understand. I do get what he's saying about wanting to, expose his kids to his country and his culture. But in what way? You said that the media and the people and your family were terrible to you. What you went back for? Like a tour of Windsor Castle? Why are you going? Right. It doesn't make any sense to me unless they're preparing to go for big events like on the horizon. Maybe King Charles isn't a bad way. I don't know. We don't know. There's also been speculation that once William becomes king, he's going to strip them of those titles.
Yeah.
He's ready to be petty. And from what I understand, it's not something he can just do. It would involve government and other bodies.
I should hope so.
He can't just go and do that.
And be like, you're done, son.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here, bro.
Like no title, no crest, no crown, no nothing.
Yeah.
He just like rips the cape off his back and his scepter is gone. It's over.
I mean, if he could, he probably would. I feel like of all the people, I think William is the most angry.
100%. Yeah, he's also like, you know what? F you. I've been over here. My wife had cancer.
Yeah.
The public was wondering where she was.
Totally.
Then there was this Photoshop scandal and we had to go tell the world what happened. Dad's sick. Grandma died. And you screwed off to California and you're making jam.
Yeah.
Forget you.
Double middle fingers.
That's what I think he could feel like. And I'm carrying the burden of this whole operation right now. 100%. And I don't have the luxury of piecing out to California.
Yeah.
I got to stay here and keep this shit together.
Yeah. So thanks for your non-service.
Thanks so much. And you want to come back now?
Yeah. No, you're out. And apparently to add to the sort of like pettiness and pissedness is that, when they left the royal family, double.
I'm just picturing William being like,
screw you,
Harry.
You're done.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Go
totally.
ahead. No.
When Harry and Meghan left the royal family, and they were allowed to keep their titles, but they were not allowed to keep the title of Her Royal Highness and His Royal Highness, right?
I guess
there were these rules about that.
Okay, I still can't keep track of this
there
whole
was
thing.
rules.
Okay.
It was basically like you are still the Duke and Duchess, but you're not ever to be referred to as Her Royal Highness or
You've
His
lost
Royal
the
Highness.
HRH.
We lost it.
Okay.
But we know that Meghan has slowly been slipping all this back in, right? Now she's Meghan Sussex now, as we know.
Yes.
That whole thing. So they're sort of like breadcrumbing that they want to get back in that nook and be referred to as these things. And then some internet sleuths, as they do. She just did that podcast last week with Jamie Kern Lima, where she, had also a lot of sort of viral sound bites. And Jamie, the podcast host, took a photo of a basket that Meghan got her with her jam in it. And doesn't it have a note?
No.
That says HRH.
Stop it.
Yeah.
In her calligraphy? Like, did she sign it?
She signed it with HRH. So it's just like, what are you guys doing here? You established these boundaries.
You pieced out.
You're creeping back in. You're referring to yourself as Sussex. You're using HRH even though you were told not to. You're saying you want to reconcile, but dishing all of this dirt on everyone and still talking shit about the royal family. Like, I just don't understand. Are they being misadvised? Are they in an echo chamber of just the two of them where
big and bad,
everyone else is just being like, yes, like you're perfect and amazing and whatever you want.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand what the strategy is.
Or
here.
are they in
this
this echo chamber like my 5-year-old who lives in a state of being perpetually wronged? Marigold feels like she's perpetually being wronged.
Well,
B got more strawberries. Somebody's popsicle was bigger.
Right.
B got to wear a dress and Marigold only got to wear a skirt. This is what they're living in.
Right.
But they're grown-ups.
Yeah.
She's 5.
A lot of victimhood.
Major. And again, why are you continuing to trash this family? You know that Instagram trend that's going around, the butterfly effect thing? Like if you've done things differently.
Right.
If they had left the royal family for all the reasons they wanted to leave, or just the UK. Yeah. Okay. For all the reasons that they wanted to do so. They could have lived happily in California, had some relationship with the family, had they not opened their big mouths.
Right.
And honestly, what did it get them in the end? Those books, those interviews, dishing all of that, all it did was deeply fracture these relationships.
Yeah, you're right.
They could have had those feelings, kept them inside.
Yeah.
What a crazy concept. Have your feelings, keep them in here, talk about them in therapy, maybe talk to the family about them.
Keep them in the group chat with your closest peeps.
Does the whole world need to know? Because that's what they did. And that
right.
was the misstep. And that's the misstep they continue to make. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's enough.
It's enough.
It's enough.
And if you do want a relationship with your family again, which I'm sure that would be a wonderful thing, you need to revise the strategy. We need a new team.
We do.
We need a new advisor. You might need a new wife.
Like, it's just none of it's working.
What are we doing?
None of it's working.
No, it's really not.
Also, it's really weird to write a note to your friend and sign it off HRH. Like, imagine me writing something to you and signing it Mrs. Danielle Marie Graham.
But like,
it's weird.
Literally. But remember, she's the one that stands with the cameras on correcting her friend in her kitchen.
In her fake kitchen.
You know, I'm Megan Sussex now. So it all tracks, but it's all so weird and cringe. Cringe.
Stop talking. In fact, now the BBC should decline interviews. You know what, Harry? For the betterment of the monarchy, we will not speak to you.
No.
We cannot.
We're not available.
We're not available.
Not available to
call your
you.
dad.
Yeah.
Call your brother. Call anybody else.
Call a therapist.
Honestly, what a mess.
What a mess.
Speaking of things that are getting messy.
Yes. Messy legal news for Taylor Swift.
Yeah. According to sources on the internet,
yeah,
Taylor has been subpoenaed in the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit.
Right.
And further to that, there is speculation that Travis Kelce is next to be subpoenaed, along with Hugh Jackman.
Right.
So there's all kinds of people getting sucked into this web.
Wow. I mean, we knew that it was going to happen, or that it might happen. To see it coming to life and so quickly is pretty crazy. Taylor, I mean, I missed her at the Met Gala last night.
Yeah.
But I totally understand why she didn't come. And really, Blake and Harry and all of these people need to be taking notes from Taylor, because she really knows how to go dark when things are messy. And it really, I think, does help her in this case, because there's no other headlines to latch on to.
She's given nothing.
She's giving everyone nothing, which she's so good at.
So smart.
Like she is just like the queen of control. And so I really respect that. But yeah, so it looks like they've subpoenaed her, which means that they could be asking for her to deliver all of her text messages and correspondence with Blake in and around that time of the It Ends With Us, the creation of that movie. And we know that Taylor's deeply embedded in the drama.
Yeah.
But I don't think we quite knew how much until now. Like, for them to be subpoenaing her means that they think that she has a significant amount of information that will be relevant to the judgment.
That's right.
On, who's right or wrong in this case of Justin versus Blake.
That's right. When we think about Taylor's involvement with some of this story, we think about the dragon, right? The text of Blake and my dragons, Taylor and her husband, Ryan. That's what she referred to them as. But Taylor was more involved than that. Yeah. Taylor was key in casting. She cast, what was the actress's name who played young Lily in the movie? Isabella.
Right.
So she played a key role in the casting of Isabella. She said, stamp of approval, yes, this is a great person to play Blake Lively's character in the younger years.
Which is such a weird thing for her to get involved with.
Right.
Like, some of the other stuff I kind of understand. That's like a random thing to want to be involved with. I'm also not sure how that's relevant to the case, except that I think that they're trying to prove that Blake had a significant amount of influence over the production
and tried to take control
overall,
of the
and
movie.
tried to take control with her dragons.
With her dragons. And then, of course, her song was the song of the movie.
That's right.
And Blake asked Taylor for that song and was, helped broker that whole arrangement.
Yeah. And used that, I think, as sort of like a manipulation and sort of almost like negotiation tactic in her in whether she could get her own edit and all the things. She was, I think, trying to withhold Taylor's song to get what she wanted.
Yes.
Which is, it's pretty vile.
It is. And if we go back to what we know about Blake and the text messages that she likes to send, they were novellas.
Yep.
So now, if Taylor, in fact, does have to give over her messages,
what do those texts look like?
They don't look like you and me back and forth. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like a thumb, a couple LOLs. Yeah. And these were like scripts.
No, Blake loves
the long message.
The sound of her own voice.
Oh my God, how mortifying this whole thing could be. Like how humiliating.
Really humiliating.
And so... it would feel so invasive. It would feel like such a violation. And Taylor's already had to fight, right? She had to fight for the rights of her music.
Totally.
Like she's had to fight. And she's kind of in a nice period, or she was anyway, of just kind of, she's in a great relationship, peaceful, successful, came from the depths of bullying and cruelty that happened to her. Great tour, great. Yeah. And then this, and she's probably like, you know what? I just got to protect my peace here. Travis Kelce also unfollowed Blake Lively.
I saw that.
He's just, and I now believe that was all co-signed by Taylor Swift. She was like, do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think he's just like, we're over this. Yeah. And I don't care who knows.
Right.
And honestly, I don't blame them.
I don't either.
I think it would be really hard to overcome and unsee this, especially in a world where Taylor is so private and she works so hard at really managing where people have access, where the press has access, where her fans have access. And now this, she has to open up her phone, like the most intimate, violating thing I think that could happen.
Go through my underwear drawer.
Before you literally.
Yeah. Search history over text messages.
100%. All you'll see is like what designer was Kerry Washington wearing?
Right. Mine is irritability at perimenopause symptom. The answer is a resounding yes.
Great. So much to look forward to.
It's so great.
Amazing.
All right. Where are we going now? Oh, Lady Gaga.
We have to talk about her.
Gaga. Yeah. She's having a great year.
She's having such an amazing resurgence and renaissance in her career. She's been around for longer than I think we can appreciate. Like that poker face era, that was like 15 years ago.
Was it?
It's crazy. And we've seen her through so many chapters and so many eras. I think she's had a really tough life. She's had, trouble with her mental health. Mm-hmm. She's had chronic struggles with her physical health, which we saw in that documentary she did a few years ago. She's been in and out of some not so healthy relationships. We've seen her engaged multiple times and we've seen the ends of a lot of relationships.
She has lived a lot of life.
She really has. Like really.
How old is she? She 40?
She's a year younger than me.
Oh,
she's 39.
She has lived a lot.
A lot.
Wow.
And so I love seeing her in this. I mean, ironically, her new album's called Mayhem, but it seems like she's in her most peaceful era.
Yeah, that's very true.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the new album is out. Massive sets at Coachella, like the ones that were the most celebrated.
Iconic.
People obsessed. Like we heard about her performances more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And then now this huge concert in Rio, 2.5 million people at a free concert. And now it is the biggest the highest record attended concert by a female artist. So Madonna had it previously in that location, and now it's Gaga's. 2.5 million people showed up to see Gaga or hear Gaga.
When I heard about this 2.5 million people, I just thought, no, this is Danielle's worst nightmare.
I love that you know me so well.
No, I had like secondhand anxiety for you just looking at it.
This rational fear of big crowd. This very rational fear of big crowds and a possible stampede belongs to myself and my friend Shannon, who is a devout listener of the show. And as soon as I saw this headline,
hi Shannon, shout out,
I was like, Lady Gaga had a concert for 2.5 million people. She just wrote back, worst absolute nightmare.
No, worst absolute nightmare. So yes, like. I mean, I think we are even more sensitive. Like I saw that there were cherry blossoms in Trinity Bellwoods Park the other day, I saw about maybe like 50 or 60 people crowded around. And I was like, nope, not going over there. Too many people. In this case, with this Brazil concert, that's actual. Oh, that's a lot of vulnerability. The opportunity for accidents and stampedes and tramplings is like really real.
It is, but then also it's now been revealed there was a planned anti-LGBTQ plus terror attack targeting the concert. So Brazilian authorities got intel and were able to intercept and make sure that didn't happen, but they were going to use improvised explosives aiming to target children and teens and LGBTQ plus people. So exactly. Terrifying. And thank God nothing happened.
Thank God everyone's safe.
Thank God everybody is safe.
And it sounds like Gaga, and probably better off that she didn't know that it was happening.
Yeah.
But apparently she didn't even hear about it till she heard about it on the media.
Yeah. After the fact. Because there have been horror stories where those things.
Absolutely. I mean, the Ariana Grande concert, there's been some horrible incidents. And of tramplings and things like that, right? We saw that at the Travis Scott concert a number of years ago, people who tragically passed because of there being just too big of crowds and not enough organization. There were some criticisms, I would say, of the team that was organizing the Gaga show. But I think it's just like when you have that many people in one place, like how do you systematically make that organized and safe? Like that is, I don't even know if that's possible.
I don't either. And I don't know that we need to be doing these kind of shows anymore. Is that the wrong take on this? But it's, I don't know. It just feels so unsafe for so many reasons.
I agree.
And my God, if I had kids that were in their 20s and wanted to go to this, I would be.
It's a hard no.
It's a hard no. But also, if they're adults, and I don't know, I would just be sick about the idea of anybody going to anything like this. It just feels like everything that can go wrong could, and I don't. No, thank you.
Yeah, no,
we don't need it. 2.5 million people.
Like we have enough risk, just existing in Trinity Bellwoods. Like
you can't even go. I actually went on Sunday in the crowds.
I know you did.
To the cherry blossoms, dragged my hungover husband through those blossoms.
You are a brave woman.
I am.
In so many ways.
You know, I love a nature moment.
Yeah, of course.
I love a floral. I love spring. I love gardening. I've spent a lot of time in garden centers in the last week. So I just needed to see the cherry blossoms do their thing.
And did they
don't disappoint? No, neither do the ridiculous people who put on full photo shoots. I think there was a wedding. There was gowns. There was a DJ. There was big lighting rigs. It is quite a thing.
Everyone's got their thing.
Before we wrap up the show, we should say we are keeping an eye on what's happening with Diddy's trial. It just started this week. And by started, I mean they're starting the jury selection process.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about it this week, but in the coming weeks as the stories develop.
Fun fact, I also got summoned for jury duty yesterday.
So did Randall.
No way.
Randall got the paperwork too. And he said to me, he's like, I don't have to do this, right? I'm like, you have to fill that out.
That's what I said to Jimmy. I was like, I don't have to do this. He's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to be arrested, but I cannot do
I'm here to tell
duty.
you both. Yes.
Okay,
if you look at the door there, Randall's paper is going in the mailbox beside your house.
Shit.
Listen, I had to go a few years ago. So.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you serve?
No, but I was in the thing. I was like, I'm at the courthouse and
I had to actually go.
Yeah, I had to go. And this is at a time when I was on television and I actually went, I was like, hey, so I work in media and I work in a newsroom. Yeah. And that's what the person did. They just went like this, not going to work here. Sorry. In you go. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, really?
Do I have to do this? Yeah, I had to sit there for a day.
Wow.
And then they settled out of court.
I was going to have to Randall and I end up being on the same trial.
Oh my
just being Randall.
Fill out your paperwork. It is your civic duty. You have to do it. Oh my God,
that is so stressful. Well, when I got it, I was like, ooh, maybe I've been summoned for Diddy's trial.
Oh my God.
And then I realized that's impossible, but
I kind of want you and Randall to be on someone's jury.
If I were going to be in jury duty with anyone, I feel like Randall would be a great buddy.
Listen, he watches a lot of crime dramas. He would be a fantastic juror.
I mean, if they were like,
objection.
Yeah, I object. Wait,
sir.
Sorry.
You're a juror.
Please sit down.
Wow.
No, I could have a Legally Blonde moment.
Yeah.
I'd be into that. The outfits. Think about the outfits.
Now I'm
excited.
Here. Fill out that paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are watching the Diddy trial. We'll keep you posted on when things start to develop.
Yeah, we sure
when there's
will.
Stuff to share. I want to remind everybody that we do have our Go Off segment.
Yes.
That we are so looking forward to hearing from you on. So once again, get in our DMs with a voice note on a story you're obsessed with. Maybe you want to go off about Harry, and maybe you have thoughts on the way Harry's been handling his family's business.
Yep.
You want to go off about Taylor and Travis and this subpoena. Maybe you want to go off on the Met Gala. Maybe you don't like our picks. Whatever it is.
Yeah, send us a quick note, a 60-second voice note, and we want to air it and air out your hot takes live on the podcast.
There's nothing better than airing out your feelings, which is why we do this show.
Exactly. This is like therapy for us.
It absolutely is.
It
so
is.
We
so
want
join
that for
us.
You. Yes, join us. And join us again next week. We'll be back then. Bye.
Have an amazing week.
Mwah.
Bye.